This is Dusekkar, and you're reading the title right. I believe that Dusekkar is the best character in Forsaken currently. Dusekkar could do so much and is pretty self-sufficient, and a really good Dusekkar could basically raise the whole team's skill floor just because of them. Look how I spawn protect this other Dusekkar in chase, basically solidifying the game as a victory for survivors. What is spawn protection, you might ask? Oh right, that's right, you guys don't really play Dusekkar at all. Don't worry, I'll briefly explain and you would understand pretty much instantly. First thing you need to know is that Dusekkar is a 5-star, meaning by default he is the hardest survivor to play and learn. Okay, now going back onto spawn protection. You cast a magical beam over a teammate with a giant circle that is where your mouse or thumb or joystick cursors over. Survivors hit by this will receive resistance 4 for 4 seconds. However, you can cancel this early if you have, like whatever is mentioned, out of the circle's range. The shield also goes over walls, which doesn't even matter since by the time that timer expires, the shield should expire itself anyways. The shield's range is also seemingly about 150 studs, meaning that either if you are too far away or your teammate is, the shield will cancel automatically. This ability has a 30-second cooldown. Hey, post-production shock here. The actual range of spawn protection is nowhere near 150, actually it's 95. One thing I did forget to mention too is that if 3 Dusekkars shield a survivor at the same time, every single one of the shielding Dusekkars get blindness 3 and slowness 3 for 5 seconds. Will this happen in an actual round? Yeah, probably not at all. Another thing to mention is that you can sprint while shielding someone. Albeit you are somewhat slower, it still helps you keep a safe distance from the killer. Okay, when is a good time to use spawn protection? Well, a simple and really effective way to use plasma beam is straight up just cast it after you see a teammate, or more importantly, a sentinel make a mistake with their stun. Basically receiving little punishment just for making a mistake of their stun and not getting punished instantly for it. This also means that spawn protection is a hard counter to one of the most obnoxious killers, this piece of shit, to 1x's abilities. More importantly, entanglement. Straight up just denying the ability of a killer to do free damage that takes up to half a character's health is pretty good. Also, something important to note is that spawn protection is based off your camera actually, meaning that you could straight up just shield people over walls like this if you know how to angle your camera correctly. This adds a whole nother layer of complexity to the character of Dusekkar. The last thing you need to know about spawn protection is when there are multiple Dusekkars present in one round. After spawn protecting a teammate, the other Dusekkar cannot use spawn protection on the teammate until 30 seconds are up, basically refreshing the cooldown of the previous Dusekkar spawn protection. This means Dusekkars have to be wary about where they want to spawn protect, as they can only spawn protect one survivor every 30 seconds, separately. And overall, that's all you need to learn about spawn protection. Now let's move on to the next ability. Plasma Beam. Plasma Beam is a lot more skillful to use than spawn protection, and the reason why is, guess what? You actually have to aim your projectile. When using Plasma Beam, you will be put in a 1-second animation of you twirling your staff before casting out a projectile similar to Chance's gunshot. This ability, also similar to Chance's gun, can also hit through walls. And if you're wondering how to aim Plasma Beam, it's not like Chance's gun where it's aimed straight where your body's at. Instead, it's aimed directly at where the staff is at. Meaning that, yes, if you do move, it could affect the placement of your beam. And don't cast this while you're hugging a wall. Plasma Beam, also like spawn protection, has a 30-second cooldown. And the range of Plasma Beam is about 75 studs. Likewise with spawn protection, you can also sprint while using Plasma Beam. Plasma Beam has 2 uses, zapping a killer and zapping a teammate. Zapping a killer provides slowness 2 for 3 seconds if there's a single Dusekkar present. I'll get more to Dusekkar stacking later. However, if you zap a teammate, they get 20 overhealth and speed 1 for 3 seconds. Plasma Beam also goes through multiple targets, meaning you can have multiple survivors hit or survivors and killers hit in the same Plasma Beam, giving out the ultimate value. Okay, now for the situational uses of Plasma Beam. Really, you should just use it when you see someone under distress or in chase, or you yourself are in chase, to use this ability. To determine where you should aim your Plasma Beam at between a killer or a teammate is pretty simple. If a killer is soon to start or initiate a chase, just use Plasma Beam on the killer. If you see a teammate in a close range chase or in a bad spot such as being cornered, it's better to use the Plasma Beam on them so they get a better way to escape and they don't get punished as much because of the overhealth. Okay, now what to do when you are in chase. If you use Plasma Beam early and up front, it will give you more leniency and comfortability for the resting period when both of you guys are recovering your stamina. Using it in low stamina situations is a lot more effective as, 1, if landed upon, the killer gets screwed over and you gain way more distance in them, and 2, it forces the killer to try to dodge it, burning their own stamina just to make sure they avoid getting slowed, giving you a stamina advantage regardless. However, if you do miss Plasma Beam, it is a lot more detrimental than using it in the other way. It's always best to cast right away when both you guys are recovering. And now for the stacking nerfs on Plasma Beam. For teammates, when casting Plasma Beam, overhealth gain will drop by 2.5 for every Dusekkar alive, meaning that a full lobby of Dusekkars, which consists of 8, will give you 2.5 overhealth total. On the killer side, for every single Dusekkar alive, the slowness drops by 0.5, and once it reaches up to 5 Dusekkars, which means the slowness would be at 0.5, nothing happens. Meaning that if there are 6 or more Dusekkars alive, the slowness will no longer work on the killer. Okay, now let's conclude to the main topic of this video. Why do I consider Dusekkar to be the best character currently in Forsaken when there's other options like 2-Time, ELLIOT, Builderman, and so on? Okay, well, first of all, 2-Time is definitely the best character for like just versatility, but definitely not the best overall for a team's help perspective in a casual lobby. Maybe that changes in more competitive lobbies. Well, what makes Dusekkar different than all the supports then? Well, first of all, Dusekkar is by far the most available support, as both of his abilities have 30-second long cooldowns, while both ELLIOT and Builderman have 45-second long abilities before they can support the team again. I know a pretty big counterpoint people really say of Dusekkar is that he can't self-sustain himself, but if you can use Plasma Beam correctly, you don't really need to worry about that issue. And if you also have a really good team helping you out, meaning that if you make a mistake and you need help on the fly, Dusekkar is by far the best option, as he can give you a get out of jail free card or make you take less damage overall with spawn protection, or another get out of jail free card and you get a quick escape and get away with an extra hit with Plasma Beam. So what makes this guy different from the rest of the supports? But more about the self-sufficiency. Yeah, Plasma Beam's really good ability to help Dusekkar himself to get out of bad situations and to keep himself extended in stamina chases. Even in Last Man Standing, Dusekkars don't do that bad because of Plasma Beam's availability, meaning you're able to cast it at least twice a round, and can be really used in crucial situations to determine a game's fate. Combine that with his already busted abilities, and combining this with really good teamwork, it makes Dusekkar really strong and really overpowered. And that concludes why I believe Dusekkar is the best character currently in Forsaken. Share your thoughts and opinions on why you don't think he is, why you think he is, why you think other supports are probably better than him. You can comment down below because I would be interested in hearing what you have to say. Some quick things to mention is that you should join my Discord server that I have down below in the description, or just follow this link. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like and subscribe.